Hey everybody, Kale here. Just a quick message before we get started with this episode. In case you have not already heard the news, if you're not the type of person who follows the bands that we talk about every week, you may not have heard that Thursday night, as we were recording this episode, the current lead guitarist, well, not current anymore, but the lead guitarist for Manowar was arrested and charged with possession of child pornography. I just want to say that this news came out literally as we were recording the episode, and we weren't aware of it at the time. And I want everyone to know that we're not being willfully ignorant of the situation, and that in no way do we think that it is funny. It is somewhat of an entertaining coincidence that this would happen on the night that two guys talk about a 30-year-old album, but there's nothing funny about child pornography, and we just wanted to make sure. And if it means anything, this album that we're talking about today was recorded 6 years before the band member in question even joined Manowar. So, like I said, I just wanted to get out ahead of that so none of you look up Manowar and are surprised and think that we're being willfully ignorant of this pretty terrible situation. So, with that being said, I hope you all enjoy the rest of the episode. It's kind of a crazy one. We definitely lose track more than we usually do, but maybe you're entertained by that sort of thing. So enjoy.
On this episode of the Bronze Metalist podcast, we're talking about Kings of Metal by Manowar. Enjoy. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Welcome back to the Bronze Medalist podcast. I'm Kale.
I'm OJ.
That was kind of anticlimactic. I wanted a nice
anticlimactic beer crack I've ever heard.
Yeah. We've got some Fosters here tonight. That's
not
right.
a sponsor.
Not sponsored by
not
Fosters.
Yet. Yeah.
Speaking of sponsors, today's episode is sponsored by Marvin.
Marvin.
Oh, Marvin.
I'm going to blow up the earth.
Yeah, Marvin the Martian, our favorite guy. He's just what can we say about Marvin? He's green. He's not really green.
No, he's green. He's more of a
he's like pitch black.
Yeah, pitch black, space black.
Yeah, he's pitch black.
He has a green
small.
helmet.
He has a green helmet and it has a tassel.
Mm-hmm. Or is that it looks like a brush?
A brush. It's supposed to be like, a Roman or like a Greek crest.
Sure.
On it. Other things we can say about him. He has a
dog.
He has a dog. He has a very commanding and intimidating voice.
Right.
As everyone knows.
He seems to be the only Martian.
Yeah. Well, isn't there like a queen or something?
I don't know.
It's been a while since Looney Tunes.
They're big furry dudes with big feet.
Yeah, but Marvin, hell of a guy. Also, Marvin, your time has run out. What the fuck, Marvin? Always trying to destroy the world.
But it's blocking his view of Venus.
I don't care. What do you want to look at Venus for? It's just a bunch of clouds. You just see a bunch of clouds, and you want to look at Venus? Get yourself an X-ray telescope, and you know what you'll see? Shit! Venus sucks!
Get yourself a rock and fart on it, and then you know what Venus looks like.
You know what happened when we sent stuff to Venus? The planet crushed it. Not even because it had cool gravity. They've got less gravity than us, technically, but they've just got such a ridiculously dense atmosphere, just like you, Marvin, are a ridiculously dense person.
And you're not crushing it, by the way.
Fuck you, Marvin. All right, we've gotten through the sponsored portion of the podcast.
Thank
you. If you would like us to compliment you and then immediately start berating you, send us money on PayPal or something.
$1. If you send us $1, we will say your name and possibly bad things about you to make you feel...
Without knowing pretty much anything about you.
We did determine that earlier today, too, that we would both be someone who, I'll say anything you want me to say if you pay me.
Yeah, if you pay me an amount of money, I will say pretty much whatever you want as long as it's not racist.
Well, yeah. Oh, yeah, as long
as you
don't
want that.
I mean, I have some core values. Some of those are questionable.
But you hold to them, and most of them aren't racist.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I said most of them.
Most of them.
He just, the thing about OJ,
Yeah.
he really does not like Welsh people.
I don't like, which is funny because my name is Owen,
Yeah, which is Welsh.
which is Welsh.
He's a self-hating Welshman.
I can hate myself in 15 consonants and 2 vowels.
And all of the vowels are Y. People are like, why do they consider Y to be a vowel sometimes? The Welsh, that's why.
Exactly.
So I didn't write down bullshit today to talk about.
No, you didn't.
Because I forgot. I was eating Oreos. That's
You're
a good
eating
reason
what'd you do with the Oreos?
in my tummy.
Hey, somebody had, by the way, a chip spill in your hallway out here. There's
Chip spill?
chips all over the
Oh, a chip spill.
chips spill.
Okay, it happens sometimes.
Because you look at the outside of your apartment complex and you go, hey, that's a nice place to live.
It looks nice.
And then you
get
come
in-
inside and
and
oh.
there was a hole in the wall by the stairwell for a couple of weeks.
Yeah?
At first, it was just the raw punch hole.
Oh, that kind of a hole.
Yeah, someone very clearly, I think it seemed like somebody punched it or very forcefully slammed a very large thing. It wasn't a dent. Like, it wasn't like something accidentally, like someone was drunk and fell over and smashed their head into the wall and the drywall caved in. No, it was punched through.
It was deliberate.
And it was not like a clean. It was rough. And then someone very quickly covered it up. Probably the building manager.
Sure.
Very quickly covered it up. And then like a day later, that was gone and there was just a square void there. And then eventually they filled it in. So I don't know the story.
Somebody came along and spilled the dude's chips.
Okay.
And because
this was a different chip spill.
It was a different
incident.
chip spill. This is a place prone to chip spills.
Do you think that there's going to be another hole in the wall after this? After the one today?
Potentially, this could come to a head.
Do you think this is like a serial case?
Perhaps.
Actually, no, it's a
Chips
case.
case, right?
It's
There's
not
no
a
cereal in there.
case.
No.
If there's a cereal spill, then we got to get worried because someone's going to die.
Yeah. Because we got maybe a serial killer,
Yeah.
puncher.
Yep. That's where this was headed. It's okay. that died off the way it should have.
Yeah, on the vine, right there.
Died off on the vine. Withered right there. One thing that I do want to mention coming up, we've got the only billboarded episode is when we get to talk about the Silent Planet album that's going to be coming out on November 2nd. Woohoo! It's probably going to be a little while before we actually get to talk about that.
Because you want to digest it first.
Maybe, because November 2nd I think is on it's on a Thursday, I think.
Right. Well, technically today is Thursday.
Yeah. Oh, the 2nd's on a Friday.
Oh, okay.
So it'll be a little while after it comes out that I'll get to digest it. So we'll probably do that. I think technically that won't be my week, but we might just do. We made up the rules. We can break them.
Zach, we're flexible like that.
Yeah. So we'll talk about that then. Leading up to that, they released another single yesterday. It was called The New Eternity. I think it might be the weakest of the singles they've released so far. It was still really good, but it was
Like
just
ever?
No, not ever.
Okay.
From this album. It might be one of the weaker singles that they've released from this album, The New Eternity. It was still good. There was just something a little off about it. It didn't quite feel as tight as the other tracks. I liked it, not as much as the other singles. Might have more time to digest it. I don't know.
Oh, you will.
I will.
But
But
really,
there'll be an album.
Yeah, who knows how much time any of us really have.
Yeah.
But really, I mean...
I hope it's at least enough to experience the full album. Because the track I'm most excited for is called Depths.
Depth.
Yeah, that like P and then TH is a weird
Depth.
Depth. Hello, we're going to be plumbing the depth. I've turned into Daffy Duck. But it's called Depths 3.
Uh-huh.
And so on their very first EP that they released, they had a song called Depths, which is good. And then on their first album, which is called The Night the God Slept, which is a very good name for an album. Also a weird choice for a Christian band to have an album called The Night the God Slept. The last track on the album had to do with just a fever dream that their vocalist Garrett had. And that was great. And there's a recurring line in each of the songs that is, Lord, did you see me as I was dreaming? Mm-hmm. And it's wonderful. It's very powerful. So I'm so pumped for what 3 is going to be, because 1 and 2 are so good. So I'm very excited about that.
Depths 3.
Depths 3. I think there's also a new Architects single coming out tomorrow, maybe.
Yep.
What else? Oh, you went to Las Vegas.
I did.
Of course. You have some tales for us. Any highlights you want to bring up? Any things we can dig into?
Let's see. I went to the bodies exhibit at the Luxor. That's where you go and you see the mummified like human remains, like freshly mummified.
That's pretty metal, dude.
Years. Yeah, and you can see all the different tissues and the nerves and the organs. And
what'd you do today?
On it.
I went to go look at some dead people.
I looked at dead bodies. It was the same day when I looked at the remains of the Titanic as well, which is like in the same
dead people
area.
in a dead ship.
Yeah. I also went to Madame Tussauds.
Okay, I believe I've been to. I went to a wax museum in Las Vegas, so I presume it was. It was Madame Tussauds. What was your favorite wax figure from Madame Tussauds?
My favorite wax. It was. I guess I got my picture taken with Prince.
Nice, cool.
Yeah.
That's the only likeness, since they don't want to. He doesn't want to be a hologram, or he didn't want to be a hologram. So.
Right, they made him into a wax figure.
So yeah, he has that was probably around when he was alive, I imagine.
I'm trying to think
wax
of
figure.
We went to go see Cirque du Soleil.
So what performance was it? It was the Beatles one,
yeah,
right?
It was Love, yeah. It was really good.
Okay,
really
I was when I went to Vegas, they were still doing the Michael Jackson one.
They still are.
They still do? Okay.
Yeah.
The Michael Jackson one was very good as well.
I think that's in the Mandalay Bay.
Yes, it is, because we had to walk all the way there. I was like half drunk at the time because my dad had been bringing me beer. Because it was Vegas, but I wasn't quite old enough, and so I was. But my dad was like, I know you're fine. Also, I'm getting you the alcohol, and you're drinking it here. You're not going to get into any trouble." And
what could go wrong?
What could go wrong? So I was while we were trying to find our way to Mandalay Bay, because we were at Bally's, which is a decent distance from Mandalay Bay.
That's a very good distance from Mandalay Bay. Yeah.
So we had kind of scoped out how we were going to get there a couple days earlier. And no one in my family could figure out how to get there, because it was me, my dad, my aunt, and my uncle, and my mom. I should have included, and my mom was there too. I guess
It was that lady
me, my mom, my dad, my aunt, my uncle. So there's 5 of us. The 4 like grown ass adults, and me, a very fresh adult. The 4 grown ass adults could not figure out where we were supposed to be going, and me with like 2 Guinnesses in me, which was a lot at the time, was able to guide everyone to where the fuck we were supposed to go.
And you got there.
And we got there. Because, like, they were like, I think we were supposed to go this way in this casino, or, like, because we were walking through the casinos, because it was quicker, technically.
Well, yeah. They designed it that way.
Yeah. It was like, I think we were supposed to go this way. It's like, no, it's this way. I remember there's a sign also. Adults. Yeah, I was very proud of myself. I think I'm a good navigator when I'm slightly buzzed. I think I can remember. It's like that. I bring up Beer Fest so often because there's the scene in Beer Fest where
the movie.
In the Beer Fest, the movie.
Right.
I would love to go to Oktoberfest and to one of their like beer drinking, because they do have underground beer drinking contests at Oktoberfest.
In like Munich, or where is it?
Yeah, Oktoberfest is in Munich, and I have a German friend who has attested to this, that has said that there are actually like underground drinking contests. I don't know why they have to be underground. It's probably just atmosphere. But
yeah, they're drinking beer. Then it's not underground.
Yeah, it's not
heroin injecting contest.
It's not like the Munich police are going to be like, "You are drinking beer in Germany during October? How dare you?
Schnell!"
So yeah, I would love to do that. But there's a scene in Beer Fest where they're trying to remember how to get back to Beer Fest for the drinking competition. They can't remember, and one of the smart guy in the group is like, "Wait, I once wrote a paper." He's a smart Jewish guy, so he has very stereotypical smart Jewish guy voice. But he's like, "I once wrote a paper about how you can remember things better when you're drunk, or like you can recall certain things that happened while you're drunk only when you get drunk again."
State memory, right?
State
That's
memory,
called, yeah.
And so they have to get one of the 2 brothers in the movie gets they have to try to get him completely shit-faced, which takes forever because they've been training for a drinking competition for an entire year.
Sure.
And finally, like, after there's like 17 empty beers, he's like, "I'm sorry, guys, I'm just not drunk." And they're like, "Okay, we're going to bring out the Goldschlager." And he just chugs an entire bottle of Goldschlager, and then he remembers how to get there. And he's just got that glitter all over his face for the rest of the movie. And he's also completely useless during all the games because he's extremely fucked up. Yeah, that's enough about Beer Fest. So, Manowar. Right. That's enough about one ridiculous thing. And time to start talking about another, let's be honest, ridiculous thing.
You know, it's funny. I feel like they do actually,
they do that. How serious do you think they take themselves?
Well, first of all, what they do is very good. They do.
Oh yes,
they're very good at what they do.
It is wonderful. I want to start by saying the moment that I started listening to this album, first sounds I heard, motorcycles starting up,
right.
And the opening riff. I just had the biggest shit-eating grin on my face. So it was like, oh, what have I gotten myself into? And it was a journey. Boy, was it a journey.
Yeah, I remember I first got it. When I first got it, it was on cassette. That's what I had it on.
Okay.
Back in...
Kings of Metal on cassette.
1988.
Yeah, that's the thing. This came out in 88.
Yeah, like 30 years ago.
And one thing that kind of surprised me, on the very first track, which is Wheels of Fire, there's a fair amount of quite raspy vocals on there that don't really appear in the rest of the album.
Right.
Like Wheels of Fire is almost a thrash song instead of it's definitely got the speed of power metal, but it feels a little bit more like thrash, and then the rest of it is very power metal.
Very power. Well, until the end, I mean, Blood of the Kings actually kind of brings up the bookend on that.
Yeah.
Sort of semi-thrash sort of.
Blood of the Kings, by the way, is 7 minutes and 30 seconds long.
There's a lot of noodling in there.
There's not a lot of noodling, but I can't stress this enough. Every moment of this album is pure fucking glory. The whole mood, the whole atmosphere of it, you can't help but smile and feel just a little silly, but also if you really just listen to it, you feel like you're being lifted off into this place full of muscle-bound men with swords but motorcycles at the same time. If the Lord Humongous from Road Warrior had a soundtrack,
this would be it.
This would be it. I feel like this is even look on the cover.
Right.
That's like some Fist of the North Star shit on there.
And the funny thing is I didn't realize up until not too long ago that they're American.
Yeah, they're Americans.
Yeah. It seems like that they're very this European kinship they have going on through the whole thing.
I mean, that's just kind of power metal. Like, if you want to talk about swords and fantasy and stuff, you're not gonna talk about America. You're gonna have to dive back a little bit deeper.
Sure.
So you got the cassette in '88, and I guess how was that for you back then?
Well, it was amazing. I mean, I was 14 in 1988. 14-year-old boy. You play this for a 14-year-old boy. It's like
this is
candy.
That's what this is audio hedonism. Not in the sense it's so decadent and it's got so much quality. It's no, this is the audio version of a movie like Conan the Barbarian. First of all, you look at the cover art. Huge muscly dude with a sword.
Right.
Very Conan, but also everything is so gung-ho, but there's also the violence, there's the sex. That's really where the audio hedonism comes in with Pleasure Slave.
Oh yeah.
I was listening to that at work. Good God, was I happy I had headphones. Just so many orgasm noises. I wonder how they recorded that. I wonder if they had a porn, or if they brought women into the studio.
I imagine if you're gonna have that kind of production value, you want to go all the way. If you're gonna go to town,
you might as well go in a Lincoln.
Exactly. Take the town car.
Take the town car.
Hey, baby, you want to be on our album?
Yeah. Maybe it was their girlfriends. There's
who knows?
The 4 of them in the band, 4 women. That's enough to create a cacophony of pleasure noises. I can't stress enough how awesome this album, I feel like, is what every 14-year-old pictures heavy metal being. I think beyond the veneer of Satanism that some people think it has. If you don't think about that, it's this is what heavy metal and rock and roll is about. It's like, it's awesome and it's epic and there's boobs and motorcycles and swords and brethren and fighting. That's it. It has such a quality to it. I have difficulty describing it.
Well, I'm glad I was able to share it with you. It was their main guitarist's last album with the band.
Really?
Yeah.
Because this is what they're like their third
sixth.
There's by 88 it's already, because I read they were founded in 84.
Something like that.
In 84, so by 88 this was already album number 6.
Yeah, they cranked them out. They were cranking out albums.
Holy crap!
I mean, they had a formula and they stuck with it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not hard to write more material about awesome shit.
I so totally would love to get a hold of some musicians and say, okay, the reason I brought you here today is I wrote some music about some awesome shit.
About some really cool stuff. There's a song about a motorcycle. There's a song about boobs.
Song about boobs. Song about killing dragons.
Write something that fits, and power metal's what you get. If you want to write a song about killing dragons that has electric guitar in it, it has to be power metal.
Yeah, that's what you're going to get.
I can't envision any other type of soundscape that includes electric guitar. There's plenty of other music that I would kill a dragon to. I mean,
sure.
The soundtrack to Skyrim. Obviously very good to killing dragons to.
Both you and I have probably slain lots of dragons to the soundtrack to Skyrim.
Yeah, I've slain plenty of dragons, both in the game and in real life.
In real life, exactly.
Yeah, I killed a dragon yesterday. I was blasting the live version with Jeremy Sewell conducting it.
Sure.
You know, I was blasting that while I
Not only
stole
the live
that
version,
dragon's soul.
Yeah, Jeremy and the orchestra were actually in the yard.
Yeah, they were there. They were. I was like, hey guys, I'm about to bring this dragon down. I want all of you to come out.
1, 2, 3, go.
Okay, dragon, get down here. I want to fight you. Let's improv this. You be the dragon.
You use dragon rend.
Yeah,
that's a shout.
Let's improv this. You be the dragon. I'm gonna go grab a sword. This'll just Avasti, dragon! You scaly bastard!
He got an actual. For the record, he's holding an actual sword in his hand right now.
What can I say? I'm a nerd. Avasti, dragon! Get down here, you dumb shit! Okay, quit. Hey, quit that. I know you can talk to me, dragon. Oh God, I've been burned.
Don Shula Dovahkiin.
In English, please.
Sup, Dragonborn.
Wow, you have a very human-sounding voice for having such a large throat and lungs.
Well, you know, so I'm really kind of faking it. This is not what my voice really sounds like. I'm just sort of speaking in a pitch that you can actually understand.
Is this what you think humans sound like?
Well, that's what you sound like, dummy. You know, it's kind of.
You dare insult me? Ah! Fire! Okay, Jeremy, kick it. This bastard's going down. Slash, shing, stab. I have slain the dragon. Fire noises as its skin burns off, and Jeremy's in the background doing his thing with the orchestra. Some of them probably died, actually.
Right, because they're live and on location. They're made out of wood.
Yeah.
Their instruments are, so it's very flammable.
The musicians were actually made out of wood as well.
So the musicians, yeah.
Yeah, they were they were
sort of
wooden,
clockwork musicians.
Yeah, they were like Warforged in Dungeons and Dragons.
Right.
Where they're kind of an amalgamation of like wood and stone and metal. And the wood part's burned, definitely. I'm just going to spend the rest of the podcast with his sword on my shoulder.
Okay. You know, somehow I feel safe.
Somehow you feel protected. If somebody comes in here,
yeah,
I'm going to fuck him up with this very dull sword.
You're going to have to do some hard thrusting.
Oh, I could get him with the point. It's not particular. I mean, if you stab hard enough with the point, that'll do something.
But what if they're wearing like plate mail?
Well,
if somebody breaks into your home wearing plate mail,
then we're kind of fucked. I think the best thing to do if they're wearing plate mail is tackle them.
Okay.
Try and tackle them.
Get them off balance.
Yeah, get them off balance, knock them over, and then go for the throat once they're down on the ground. That's what you do. Because I don't have a warhammer. I don't have a warhammer that could bludgeon him through. I don't have a flange mace.
No.
I don't have a halberd.
No, and you don't have iron hands?
I don't have iron hands. I'm not Ferrus Manus. I'm not Ferrus Manus, which means iron hands, Primarch of the Iron Hands, who literally had iron hands. It's a Warhammer reference.
In case you didn't catch it.
Yeah. In case you're not a giant nerd. That's speaking of Warhammer, by the way. At some point, that might be something I'll consider bringing for Death Metal December, is Realm of Chaos by Bolt Thrower.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Bolt Thrower is so much fun. Realm of Chaos is wonderful because the original album art for Realm of Chaos was actually, it was just the cover art for, like, I think the first edition of Warhammer 40K. It was literally either that or it was the cover for the rule book that was called Realm of Chaos. And they were just like, hey, Games Workshop, can we do this? And Games Workshop, which was all just about cocaine and rock and roll at the time.
Well, who isn't?
Was like, hell yeah! Even though they were British. Both parties involved were British, but like, hey, can we use your art?
Yes, quite right, yes.
Yes, indeed. You can use our art for our tabletop miniature war game. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Now, let's snort another line of this
Yes.
hooker's ass.
Yes.
All right. Yes. Very good.
Oh, that's the good shit. This episode's got a lot of improv in it.
I know. Thank you. And scene.
That's
All right, there you go.
yeah. We're gonna start including more improv bits because that's what this podcast needs.
Yes, and
Bang, you're dead.
Oh,
shit! I broke one of the first rules of improv, which is don't bring guns into improv because it's never funny.
no.
It's that's kind of true.
Yeah,
It's
he
never
he
funny.
finger banged me just then. It was
Okay, that one episode of South Park where they start a boy band called Finger Bang.
that's right. Well, because they're
Yeah,
they're
'cause
making the guns with their hands.
because that's what they think it's about.
Right.
I think Kenny was the only one that knew that's not what it was, but they couldn't. Okay, Kenny. So, yeah, Realm of Chaos. Maybe I'll bring that. They have a wonderful song on that album called World Eater, which is which is after one of my favorite legions in Warhammer. Which they're called the World Eaters.
Sure.
And they're the most ridiculously violent psychopaths ever. And that's kind of why they're great. They're also extremely evil. Anyhow, what else can we say about Manowar? Can you tell me more about the rest of their discography, perhaps?
Man, the rest of the discography does not, as I recall, veer heavily from this
It's
particular
more the
format.
same. I do know that in 2016 they did do a redux of Kings of Metal. They re-recorded the whole album.
You know, that I didn't know. I didn't know about that.
Yeah, it's not available on Spotify. I don't know where you can get it. I think you can. I tried looking it up on YouTube and I could only find one song. But
Which song?
I think it was.
Like the title track, or?
Yeah, it might have been the title track. Either that or it was Hail and Kill, I think.
Oh. Hail and kill.
So I think it might have been that one, but so it was re-recorded entirely, and then now they are, I believe, still technically on their farewell tour because they're planning on retiring once they're done. I think that the tour is going to be going into next year. That they're just going around and what do those guys look like? Because I kind of looked a little bit at like what they look like, but. Were they in their prime? Were they as ridiculously muscled or even close to being as muscled as their album art presents them?
Airbrush.
It's kind of like that one Cannibal Corpse live cover where they all look super muscly. I love that. I love it's like, yeah, make us look super duper buff on this one. It's like, why don't we put you in like some dynamic poses or something like that make you look tough? Like, no, make us buff. We want to look better. You might give some people the wrong idea. Fuck you. We do what we want. We're Death Clock. We do what we want.
We're the world's 7th largest economy.
Just after Belgium. Now I want to watch Metalocalypse. Oh, I missed that show. I miss Metalocalypse.
Off the air now.
Yeah, it's been off the air for a while.
Yeah.
And as far as I know, no plans for reviving it. I mean, Brendan Small would love to, I'm sure, but Adult Swim has just been like, nah.
Nah.
They made the Doomstar Requiem, which which resolved at least the plot thread of Toki being kidnapped. But they, then at the end, they realize that they are actually gods. And it kind of ends with them absolutely obliterating Big Scary Dude. Oh. That was voiced by Mark Hamill. Right. Well, because they killed the Metal Masked Assassin, which was voiced by George Fisher of Cannibal Corpse.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yep, that was George Fisher. And then they also, Magnus Hammersmith ends up committing suicide after he realizes how wrong he was. Magnus Hammersmith, by the way, voiced by Mark Maron, which I didn't realize quite at first. I was like, that sounds familiar. Holy shit, that's Mark Maron. Yeah, Magnus impales himself on a spike, I think, in a very metal and brutal fashion. Mark didn't do the singing vocals because Doomstar Requiem is a musical. It's a rock opera. It's an hour-long rock opera, and it's wonderful. It's glorious. And now Brendan can't even release. He cannot even release music as Death Clock
because it's owned by Comedy Central.
Yeah, or Adult Swim.
Yeah, Adult Swim. So
it's owned by Adult
Cartoon
Swim.
Network.
So he can't even release music as Death Clock anymore, but he's basically continued doing the same stuff under his own name.
Sure.
It's basically still, I think he still owns, I want to say he owns the rights to the songs, just not to the name. So he can still, I think, perform Death Clock stuff and all that, but he can't continue to tour as Death Clock. But I think his next Galactatron album is what it's called. I think that one is supposed to basically be more Death Clock material. We've gotten to the band became real and started touring, and then now we're at the point. It's like everyone in the show, how they were always waiting for new Death Clock material, and they would never release it. We've gotten there in real life.
The reality has parodied parody.
Art has imitated life has imitated art. God damn it. That was a struggle to get out.
It was way too much of a struggle.
Yeah. Look at my sword, checking it for rust.
I
oiled it recently.
So how often do you oil your sword?
I think last month was the last time I oiled my sword.
Okay. You want to keep that sword nice and
You want to keep it
gleaming.
supple.
Yeah.
Nice, gleaming, supple. The euphemism I was about to say doesn't even work because I was going to say you don't want it to go all floppy. But a sword doesn't get floppy because you haven't oiled it.
No.
I didn't oil the pommel. The pommel's got a bit of rust on it.
Oh. You got a rusty pommel going on there.
I got a rusty pommel. You never want a rusty pommel.
No. You know, I had a girl ask for the rusty pommel once.
Really?
Yeah, well.
How did that go?
Some places I won't even go.
Okay. Yeah, you don't want, you might get tetanus.
True.
Or other things.
You know what? The jaw to lock up. That would be terrible.
That would be bad, especially when you're eating ass. Mic drop.
Thank you. Good night. I actually played tetanus here the other day.
You played tetanus?
Well, you have the little pieces and they come down and you got to match them up.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Are you sure you don't mean tennis? It's tennis, right? The game where you drop the blocks down and fit them all together, and once you get a row, they delete.
Tennis is where you have the ball and you kick it down the field into the goal.
I thought that was basketball.
No, basketball is where you have a board and you get to be little pieces, like you can be the dog or the shoe or the accordion or whatever.
I thought
and you go around and you buy up properties.
Oh, I thought that was Risk.
No, Risk is where you're eating ass and and she's gonna try a fart.
She's gonna try it.
She's gonna try it.
I'm just gonna try it and see how it goes.
But now we're at Risk.
Yeah, you're gonna get pink eye. That way.
No, pink eye is...
Go on. You started this. You finish it, young man.
All right, that's enough out of me.
Go to your room.
Fine. Take my ball and go home.
Go to your room. It just occurred to me I hadn't quite planned on what to listen to next week.
So you hadn't thought about it ahead of time?
I hadn't. Usually... We're just
freewheeling it right now.
Just freewheeling it. I'm freeballing it.
Cause you're free.
Freeballing. What should we listen to? Oh, Oracle of Metal. What do we listen to next week?
So what do you have? Should we listen to something
Oh, I think actually I was thinking about this the other day. I think we're gonna listen to one of the first like proper ass metalcore albums that I had listened to.
Killswitch Engage?
Yeah, we're gonna be listening to "Alive or Just Breathing" by Killswitch Engage, which came out in 2002.
Give her a spin.
And yeah, give it a spin. See how it strikes you.
All right.
Because it'll strike you. The album's gonna come alive. It's gonna punch you.
Like between the eyes.
No, in the eye.
In the eye.
Yeah.
Well, maybe punch me in the wall and
yeah, and spill your chips everywhere.
Terrible.
I think one time somebody spilled a bunch of fries on the stairs as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Did they have the courtesy to at least spill some ketchup as well?
No, they didn't.
Oh, bastards.
I thought about eating one, and then I realized I'm not homeless.
I have an apartment here.
I do live here. I have food in my apartment. I could go and eat that instead of these floor fries. Instead of these nasty, dirty floor fries.
Would there be floors? Or they be flies?
They'd be flies.
Could be flies.
Flies. Floor-tatoes. Oh! I just recalled another thing that I should have brought up in the bullshit section. I'm not going to go get another sword. I am going to get our list of band names.
Band names? Oh, you brought it home.
Yeah, it's in my backpack, so I'm going to go get it.
Okay, here's more of the flopping dragon.
It's in my backpack. I brought it home from school.
So anyway, the other day I was just walking around, right? I was buck-ass naked, and I had nothing but a big vanilla milkshake. I wandered onto a train. I hope you're going to edit all this shit out.
That's staying in. That's staying in.
Okay, here we have a list. It's on a legal pad of the different band names.
Our legal pad. Oh, shit. I forgot one of the sheets, I think. Yeah, I forgot one of the sheets. I'm going to go get one of the sheets.
So anyway, the milkshake had sprinkles on it, and it was really good, and I got into a train. This train was going to take me to Cincinnati, and I realized that if the train is headed out of Minot, and I was going to Cincinnati at 55 miles an hour, how many sprinkles were on the milkshake? So it was like a math day for me, and that's when I fell over. I hit my head really hard, and that's when I began dreaming.
What were you dreaming about? Yes, please. I've got my legal pad here.
It's got the legal pad. Go ahead. Right.
Yes, please tell me more about these dreams that you've had.
I began dreaming about my mother.
And what was she doing in your dreams? And that's enough. So, some of the band names that we have come up with over the couple of months we've been doing this, coming up with band names. The very first one that we wrote down that made me decide we need to start this was Thrones of Anarchy.
Thrones of Anarchy.
Thrones of Anarchy. We were talking about Game of Thrones, I think.
And Sons of Anarchy.
And Sons of Anarchy. And I said Thrones of Anarchy, I think, on accident.
Like, that's a band name. Write that down.
Yeah. Then there's Colon Destroyer.
Colon Destroyer, which is also a great breakfast cereal.
Yeah. It's a great breakfast cereal when you're about to go get, a colonoscopy. Just blast all that shit out.
You're about to, you know those little rockets where you have to pump them full of water?
Yeah,
and then
it's
they
like that.
That's what you become. You need
a
a
rocket.
seatbelt.
It's a rocket-powered enema. That might be a band name in and of itself.
Rocket-powered enema?
Rocket-powered enema.
Okay.
Then we've got Small Town Dipshits. Bright Side of Mercury. That one kind of is nothing.
I don't remember. Yeah.
The infamous Bro Country Hit Machine.
Of course.
Perpetual Stew, because I was talking about how in the Middle Ages, people would have a stew going and people would just drop bits of food into
leftovers and whatever
to keep it going, and whoever walked by could come by and take a ladle and fill themselves up and have a nice meal, and they would just drop it in and
this is why
keep
everybody died of plague in the Middle Ages.
I suppose so. I mean, I would hope the cooking of the stew would protect against something.
You hope the fire did something to it.
Well, and it was in a big cast iron pot too, so the way cast iron does, it keeps the flavor, starts adding new flavors.
Right.
So that's enough about Perpetual Stew. Then we had Gentle Soul.
Gentle Soul.
I think the idea for Gentle Soul was to make it the most violent grindcore possible. Yeah! Then there's Voodoo Zombie Therapist. I don't remember how he came up with that one.
Or was it Voodoo Zombie the Rapist?
It might have been Voodoo Zombie the Rapist. I don't know. Bodies in the Walls. Acid Damage. Because I think we were talking about D&D.
Yeah. Did I tell you? Roll to see how much acid damage you...
Yeah.
Acid damage.
Acid damage. That's kind of like a thing. Full frontal nudity, which I'm sure I know that's a phrase I've heard before. Under destruction, which I think is kind of clever. Dirks Gently, which I believe eventually got written down as one of the song titles for Bro Country Hit Machine.
Right, Dirks Gently, because remember Dirk Gently, the long dark tea time of the soul.
I don't know that
The
one.
Holistic Detective Agency was written by Douglas Adams. Dirk Gently. Oh, I thought you were up on that. I thought that was part of the inside joke.
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm not up on that. Then we've got Mandamut.
Mandamit.
Spelled like Mandamit, but with umlauts. Dronesis. I don't remember what that one was about.
We were drunk that day.
That day? I mean, every day. No, that's not true. Ridiculous Potential, followed immediately by Explosive Disappointment. Crambler, Italian Boston Jew, based on a voice that we seem to do, probably an offensive voice that
Probably we shouldn't do because it's going to
offends somebody at some point.
Right.
Let's see. Oral AIDS. I don't remember what that one was about either. Bleeding hair. Oh, I think that one I was talking about the time that my dad cut his head while he was working on an addition to our house, and he cut his head open, and it was just like
bleeding
blood.
hair?
Yeah, it was like blood coming out of his hair.
So it's nothing to do with menstruation or anything like that.
No, nothing to do with that.
Okay.
One here is just chainsaw.
Just by itself, just chainsaw.
Just chainsaw. I don't know what that's about. Space blood. Also, maybe blood space. Weeping pustules.
I like
That
that
our
one.
boss said that one. He didn't mean it as a band name, but our boss said the words weeping pustules, and I was like, hell yeah.
Band name.
Cruel space. Like cruel space.
Right.
Lumps on your junk.
Ladies and gentlemen, all the way from North Dakota, lumps in your junk. Necroscope.
Well, there's necroscope and then necroscopy.
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 The process of using a necroscope.
Yeah. Famous face melt, which we were talking about Indiana Jones, I think.
Oh, right. You're talking about the famous face
Yeah,
melt from
and
the-
different. Yeah, and like other face melting scenes from famous movies. Piss knuckle. Don't remember that. I think that was just some nonsense shit I said. Shenihilation. That was you.
Right, that was me.
Thickwid. That was you texted me and it was like
Thick
thick
liquid.
liquid, and I was like, what about thickwid? Flesh flower, carrion flower, which is a thing,
Right, that is a thing.
and they're gross looking. Miscellaneous pee, which is an inside joke based on our file folder at work. River of pus, sounds like pain, the unnumbing, death to all things living. You wrote that one on the legal pad. Usually I'm the one that writes them down, but
Right,
you
can
wrote
tell
that
it's my
one.
handwriting.
Orgy of violence, meth stroke, like death stroke, but with meth.
Right.
Death blow, like a death blow, but with cocaine.
Death by blow.
Crocodile tears. Have we talked? Was that last week I talked about crocodile on the podcast?
Maybe.
I'm pretty sure it was. Crocodile tears, bandurism, methical dilemma, legit murder cult, Habitat for Inhumanity, Dune Slayer, because we were probably talking about the new Doom game that's
Right.
coming out. Not Dune, Doom. Vile Inn,
That's right.
Blood Must Flow, Memory Lame. Memory Lame is one of the first ones where it's like, that one's a pop punk band.
That's definitely
That's definitely a pop punk
Dude,
band.
we're memory lame.
Sharks of Baghdad, Strawlocost. Don't remember. Oh, because that was
Turtle straw thing, or was it?
that was when they were banning straws.
Right.
Ghost Dong. I don't know why that one's so funny to me. Ghost Dong. The Breaking Wheel, which is a medieval torture incident.
Right.
Incident, implement. Colossus Slayer, which is an ability in Dungeons and Dragons. Then we've got our second sheet here. That was
that's right.
that was a front and back that we just read.
That was
This
sheet
is
number
sheet
one.
number 2, which is getting more and more full. We got Frozen Hellscape, Fountains of Gore, based on Fountains of Wayne, the band that made the
Stacy's mom.
the smash hit, the turning point in music. Stacy's Mom. All music before Stacy's Mom, shit. All music after Stacy's Mom, they're just trying to copy Stacy's Mom.
Sure.
Stacy's Mom is the pinnacle.
I want to hear the death version of Stacy's mom.
That'd be great. Then we've got a couple variations. Erection election.
That was because I had to flub up reading the news.
Yeah, that's right.
They're having a runoff erection.
Erection Infection, which is a fictional band that I came up with for a 10-minute play I wrote. Infection Election. Ominous Carnage, which is another fictional band I came up with for the same play. Lustful Viking Gaze. It has a question mark, and gaze is spelled with a Z. Tears of the Body, so it's like blood. Tub Full of Guts, which is what we described Pig Destroyer as. Sacks on the Beach.
Is it SACKS or is it SAX?
SAX. Sacks on the Beach.
Okay.
Diarrhea Butt Plug. That one doesn't need an explanation, I think.
I don't think so. It has to do with grapes and mimes.
What?
Hello, diarrhea butt plug.
No.
Anyway, continue.
I don't get it. Okay, someone out there is gonna get it. If you get it, please leave a comment. I need something here. Okay, big bear ass.
Big bear ass.
So a big bear as in uncovered, a bear as in the Ursine, and an ass. Terminator of Nature. Oh, I think I remember what the context of that was. Is I was talking about humans doing persistence hunting, which is just chasing after something until it dies of exhaustion.
Right.
Or it just collapses and then you hit it on the head with a rock. Then there's the Floating Torsos, which is kind of like the Talking Heads, but you're just a floating torso.
Yes.
Ghosts of Tharsis, which I think is actually a pretty cool band name for like a post-rock ambient type thing. Because Tharsis is an area on Mars.
Right.
It could be that. Like, it's cool. Shut up. It's cool.
Shut up.
Shut up, all you people talking. It's cool. Factory Church, also known as Factory Temple, needs a workshop. Manufactured Religion, also known as Manufactured Faith, more workshopping. Flashback to the Future, which I originally wrote to flash forward to the future.
Which doesn't really, it sort of evades the entendre.
So
Entendre.
Mustache Dad, which they're absolutely a very hipstery indie band.
Sure.
Blood Sausage, just because blood sausage, it's metal sounding.
You know, people around here actually eat a lot of blood sausage.
I know. I've never had blood sausage.
You should. Get it nice and crispy.
Nice and crispy blood sausage. Notebook Doodles, which is probably a pop punk band. And then Intelligent Designosaur.
That was today.
That was today. And a lot of these were today, actually. Intelligent Designosaur, which is, sort of a play on intelligent design, but also a dinosaur, which some people are like, dinosaurs aren't real. So I thought it was clever. So yeah, that's all the fake band names that I came up with and decided to read about so we could fill time and get to 52 minutes.
If you want to use any of those band names, send us $1.
Hey, no. Some of these might get big. If you want to use any of these band names, send us
free.
$2.
Oh.
$2. Twice as much. That's doubling our money right there. Doubling our money.
Imagine somebody using one of those and then getting big on it and then not sending us our $2. Just showing up to their shows and say, "Where's my $2?
Where is my $2? And the fact that we recorded this, I believe, actually acts as its own copyright.
Yeah, potentially, because it has a time code on it.
It has a time code. It'll be released on a certain date. That acts as its own copyright. So boom, gotcha. You want any of these? You talk to us.
Yeah.
And if any of them use these names, we're gonna sue. We're gonna take you for all you're worth. We're gonna take your 2 amps that your shitty little band has.
Yeah, sorry, tub of guts.
Sorry, tub of guts. We're taking your amps that you bought with our money, that you bought with the $15 that you made playing grindcore shows in a small town.
We wouldn't be taking these 8 quarters. It's all we needed.
It's just 8 quarters. I just really need to do laundry, man.
I'm taking these amps.
Taking your amps. You could have given me the quarters. Now I'm taking your amps. So, yeah. That was an episode of a podcast. So, the point is, Kings of Metal.
Great album.
Fantastic. If you want to have a good time, listen to it. It's fun. I think more so than any album that I've listened to for the podcast, Kings of Metal is just fun. It's not tough to listen to. There are albums that I really, really like that are kind of difficult to listen to.
Difficult listening, as Lori Anderson put it.
Obscura by Gorguts is a very tough album to listen to. I enjoy it, but it's very difficult. This was like candy. It's so much fun. It's not a difficult listen. It's a lot of fun. Get yourself into it. Imagine you're a big muscly dude with a sword, and it's great.
There was much blood and gore.
Tell me a story, Grandpa.
They were the kings of metal.
So, and thus ends our discussion of the album. So next week, we are talking about Alive or Just Breathing from Killswitch Engage. So if you're out there in the audience and you want to listen to it, go ahead and do it.
Join us next week.
So you know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
If you've been listening and you're like, man, I wish I knew what they were talking about. It's because you haven't been listening to the albums. You're supposed to listen along.
Actually, I feel like if they are listening, they are saying that quite a bit.
Even if they did listen.
What the hell are they talking about?
What are these two goofuses doing? So, yeah, listen along with us, and you'll probably have more fun as we talk about the album for 10 minutes and then talk about random shit for the 40 minutes surrounding it. That's the tagline for this podcast. It's just like 10 minutes of content nestled in between
Chuck
40
layers
minutes of
random
bullshit.
shit.
Yeah. So now that you know what album to be listening to next week, I will remind you that we don't make any money off of any Monday.
No, we make no money because we make it on Thursday or Wednesday.
Yeah. Good save. Good save.
You're welcome.
We don't make any money off of this podcast. We'd like to, maybe, if you want us to. So one of the ways that you can help us do this is by sharing it with your friends, letting them know that this is cool, this is fun, that they should listen to it, or at least, give us $1. If you actually want to do that, message me.
And we'll talk about you.
Yeah, message the page on Facebook, and I will give you PayPal information.
$1.
And we'll talk about you. If you give us $1.
We will talk shit about you for $1.
Yep. Come up with the most hateful vitriol we can come up with without being racist. I was trying to hold back a burp.
Yeah, unsuccessfully.
Yeah, you can share us with your friends. Also, check us out on various social media platforms. I haven't been updating the Instagram lately. Maybe I should do that tonight. Yeah, we have an Instagram where we occasionally post behind-the-scenes stuff. Maybe I'll post a full tour of what the studio looks like.
There you go.
We have places where you can check us out. You can retweet our podcast posts on Twitter. I think that's a really easy way, right?
Right.
Just because I have a Twitter account set up for the podcast, just favorite those posts and retweet them. And then you don't even have to put any effort into sharing it with your friends.
Or money or anything crap like that.
You just press a button, and that's all you got to do. Super easy, and it helps get our name out there. So that's something you could do. Facebook is another option. I guess that's it. You've made it to the end of another episode of the Bronze Medalist Podcast. As always, I'm Kale.
I'm OJ.
Congratulations.